All right, folks. Kind of what I want to do first is, you know, part of this class certainly, but in a backstory sort of a way. But I want to put an announcement out there that I'm going to use on my blog because of something that occurred yesterday. And grandfather, was right on where this occurred because of the hope that it brings. And it's so rare that we have any hope looking at the utter collapse that we're facing and all the things. The other day I said to you that the CDC came out and absolutely said across the board that we are overdue for a pandemic. And like the Spanish flu of 1918 or whatever it is that killed 50 million people, they came out and said when this pandemic occurs within the next year to 5 years, which would fit with the time frame that grandfather talked about, that it has the potential of conservatively killing 80 million people. And they preface that by saying 80 million because of our modern technology. We're going to be able to save more people than we could during the advent of the Spanish flu. And then we get hit with 1 billion birds are missing. Go figure. And you compound that with lakes and streams just belching up dead fish, so there's nothing but carpets of dead carcasses laying on the surface. And people are still turning a blind eye to it. And then lo and behold, you remember I said a few weeks ago we had the Kotef family camp down here. And it was, I wish grandfather had been here in the flesh to see it. It was just epic. There's not a word that could describe it. There wasn't a cell phone to be seen, any handheld video games. The kids down here were just playing their little hearts out. They were dancing on the logs, they were stick fighting, they were looking for sign tracks. They were just so absorbed, so alive. The camp was so full of laughter. It just jaw-dropping. And then I got up to talk to the kids and their parents, more the kids. And I looked at their little faces, 4, 5, 6 years old, some of them older. And I started out by saying, I am so sorry that I didn't do more. I know what they're going to face, just like you do. They're going to face starvation. They're going to face water shortages. They're going to face pollution that is unimaginable right now. What are people going to do when you run out of food? When grandfather said the diseases, that common thread is going to run through everything. It's not just going to kill off people, it's going to kill off our crops, our livestock. It's going to pollute our waterways. You think as if you're a parent or a grandparent, what extremes will you go to save your family? And you've got millions of people out there willing to do the same thing. And with all of this going on, countless sleepless nights on my part, trying to reach out and as many people as I can, and even against medical advice. And then suddenly, last night, hope. Hope like I've never seen it before. Like grandfather said, it will be in the children and the young people that will bring about that change, if change is to be had. I turned on the television to the news, and throughout the world, I kid you not, even in third world countries, demonstrations to save the earth, like I never dreamed possible. Not thousands of people, millions of people. A lot of them, most of them kids. Very savvy, very up to date in what's going on. And they went from city to country to city. Unbelievable. And you'd think, it's just like New York, Philadelphia, Hong Kong. No, we're talking about Ethiopia. We're talking about third world countries too. Kids are carrying signs in their own language. Our planet is burning. Hope in those young faces. Basically the same kids that I apologize to. There's a picture, I hope Dave gets to put it on the blog, of this one girl, 15 years old, who started it. And she's sitting outside a Parliament building with a sign. One little girl. And started this whole thing. I just jaw dropped. Because she had that passion, that drive. You know, it's ironic, I was telling Randy, our book that we just finished, it's coming out in November, Healing the Earth. It's written with the perspective that people look at the problems with the earth and say, it's too immense, I can't do anything. But then comes the butterfly wings that can affect a hurricane thousands of miles away in actually a very powerful way. And that book, it was funny, was ready to go, thinking there's not going to be much of a market for that. And then I saw that on television last night and I said, that could not come at a better time, where somebody could pick that up and know that one individual could make a difference. Holy crap. Hope. We see so little of it. There is our salvation if it stays the way it's staying, not the big green bandwagon of Earth Day and everything else that never amounted to a hill of beans, that is nothing more than a Band-Aid solution where we may need major surgery. Let's hope this one takes hold. It's got to. It's got to. It's our last hope. And in every one of you out there, in your own way, whether you can trace that concentric ring or not, had something to do with that gathering, that worldwide shift in consciousness. Like grandfather said, the flock of sandpipers. When viewed from afar, it takes one more person to turn the flock. One more.